I'm too negative.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Big up to Kelkster. I have been gone for a little while. That's because I was in Budapest.
Ooh.
Yeah, I went to the major there. Now, my team, Navi, they were shit going into the major, but somehow got all the way to the semi-final. We were winning the semi-final, actually. Then we absolutely crumbled midway through the semi-final, and yeah, we did not play the final.
What was this? What team is this?
Navi, it's esports. It's a CS2.
Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
well, I'm sorry about the collapse, but that is cool to get to play in a tournament in Budapest. That'd be. I mean.
Yeah, I've
Budapest. That's pretty neat.
I've gone to almost every major, every European hosted major at the very least since Stockholm, which was 2021.
Is that what City do or no? Is it the same thing, the same esport or no?
No. So Man City don't have a CS2 team. We have like FIFA teams and stuff, but when you talk in esports, like games based on a real sport don't actually do that well. Like if you compare the competitive scene on FIFA with League or CS2, it's not the same. Like CS2 gets some really big crowds to these events. You just don't get that with FIFA because it's like, well, I can just watch the real sport, isn't it? I think it's a bit different, but it's also very similar in a way. But you know what the thing is? You don't have as much toxicity in esports in general, but like the rivalries are not as toxic, but like the general people are more toxic because you'll encounter a lot of homophobia, misogyny, and stuff like that. But other than that, it's more and less toxic at the same time somehow. Anyhow, that's got nothing to do with
anything. We got our
anything.
distraction out of the way at the beginning.
Hello, Wim. Big up. Good weekend. Club Brugge and Man City won. Hey, sometimes if you sack your manager, you actually get better. Shocking. So Bruges just spanked 5-1 past Dender. But I thought the players were the problem. Okay. Dender at home, by the way, is a team that's very difficult to score against. They just set up a low block. I mean, imagine Prime Stoke. You're going to Stoke, you're probably not scoring, right, against Prime Stoke. So it's kind of the same like that. We slapped 5 past them, but I thought the players were the problem. Right. Probably the manager who kept playing his favorites was the problem. But we're here for Man City. We've had a really good week. Now, I didn't do a watch-along to the Man City game, but I did watch it. And I have to say that was a boring game. we won. We comfortably won, but that was a boring game.
Yeah, the first half was bleak. There just was, they were really, they had that mid to low block really, really set up, and we were struggling to break it down, particularly without Doku, because I didn't realize how much he broke these down until he wasn't there, type thing. But we found a way to do it, man. Mateus Nunes, and I always slag off Bernardo Silva, but he created the space for Nunes to shine. So I got to give him some credit on that one. And Erling Haaland finally using his head. He's doing that more this season. So,
To be fair to Haaland, he's always tried headers. He's just not been very good at them. Yeah. But this season, he's actually putting his headers on target. Take last season, I'm pretty sure he skied like 10 headers at this point last season. Now he's actually getting his headers on target, which, I mean...
I'll take him to the next level as a striker, too, because he gets a lot of those opportunities. And we have so many corners, too. Like, it's like, come on, man, we gotta step that up, man. And so if he can get like 5 of those a season, like that'd be great.
I did see someone make a very good point on that, though. Tijani Reinders was also very good at headers, at least going forwards. Defensively, he doesn't want to do it. But going forwards, he's very good at headers as well. And we pushed Tijani Reinders up into that box with Haaland. and that gave Haaland more space in the box to actually get a header off. So maybe him having more space allows him to just take a header more easily, right? So I think that was a very good point. We need to make sure Haaland isn't isolated in the box, because it's always going to be difficult to score a header if there's 3 centre backs pulling on you while you're in the air.
Tijani, I think, was I watched the game again, and I realized he was great. Or I guess I watched the highlights mostly, but on both of our first 2 goals, Tijani actually does a really good job of kind of creating some space. Like, he creates the space that Turkey then takes advantage of to get the ball to Foden on that second goal. And then again, on the first goal, he helped create space for Haaland. And I think that's going very under the radar. I think people are just saying he's terrible and he's not good because he's not scoring, but he also got into some good positions. I know he didn't actually convert them, but that's kind of been the story of his season. He is consistently getting in good positions. And it's kind of embarrassing how off target he is in most of these games. I think he has, 2 goals in all comps? Maybe 3. I'm not sure. I know he has the Premier League goal from the Wolves game, but and I think he scored in the Champions League as well. But I could be wrong on that. But that is encouraging from him. I know he doesn't do much off ball, but if he can help us on ball, then we can buy somebody to do the off ball work. Like, there's heavy links to like Anderson, who could be somebody who does a lot of off ball work and just kind of push Tijani up with the rest of the pack. And I think that's where he's looked best anyways, when he's played more as a 10. He hasn't looked good as an 8, and he's looked atrocious as a 6, but he is still providing value to us further up the pitch. And it was interesting I think that was the first time I've actually really seen him play behind Haaland, and not at a tough ground too. So I thought he had, at first I was like, he was no good. But when you watch it again, you're like, yeah, he actually didn't have that bad of a game. It just doesn't show. It's just one of those things that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. So if other players are going to get credit for the kind of stuff Tijani is doing, I think Tijani should get the same credit.
Well, firstly, I disagree. It does show up on the stat sheets, but you need to know what to look at. This is the problem with statistics in general. You need to know what you're looking at. It does definitely show up.
I just meant like GRA. Like, he didn't get a goal, he didn't get an assist, but he was a huge part of both of those open play goals.
What you do see on the stat sheets is actually the heat maps of. This is very interesting. Take the heat maps of players and compare them to each other by minute. And when you do that, you see that in the first 30 minutes, I think it's 30-something minutes, Tijani Rangers stayed back more, and the centre backs of Palace were closer together. When Tijani pushed up higher, and again, this is why statistics, you need to understand them when you use them. Tijani started pushing up higher after, I believe, 30 minutes. And the Palace defenders stopped being as close together. So it does definitely show up on the heat maps if you know what you're looking at. But this is why I don't like using statistics, because, let's be honest, I don't know how to use them. I'm not a professional data analyst, and none of us know how to use them. So, but it does show up, and I think he was very good today. Not today, a few days ago, but I think he was very good. And I don't think he's ever been that bored, except when he played in a 6. I think he's played okay in the 8. But here's the problem. We are used to watching Ilkay Gundogan in the 8.
Yeah.
And Ilkay Gundogan in his prime was world class as a 6, world class as an 8, and world class as a 10, was even a very good false 9.
Yeah.
So when you go from watching that,
he carried us that season to a title when De Bruyne was injured.
Absolutely. And by the way, people don't want to give him credit. At the end of last season, who was stepping up for the big moments? It was Gundogan. Gundogan and Marmoush, to be fair. Marmoush as well.
Yeah, Marmoush was too, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we forget the reason why some of these older players are playing better at the end of last season is because we were only playing once a week.
There you go. I was actually
going to come on to that. Bernardo carried us the second half of last season. I was like, yeah, he was thriving because he wasn't playing as much, because we were out of all comps. We only had the Premier League to play. And yeah, he did look a lot better. And I think that, I know we'd said backstage we're going to discuss this. I guess I'll push forward to it. But he is starting to show signs of fatigue. Bernardo is. I think he's playing too much. And it's a shame that we can't rotate him a bit more, because I think you will get the best out of him when he plays once a week.
I think we can. You just play Marmoush. Well, now we can't, because Marmoush is off to AFCON. But I think before he went off to AFCON, I think he just could have played Marmoush in his place. And maybe make sure Shetty starts as well for that control element. I think you can start. I think you can perfectly start Bernardo once a week and be fine. Just once a week in the Premier League games, and you'll be fine. And you can rotate him in all the other competitions.
Oh. Did your power just go out?
No, because my PC is still running.
Oh, maybe your light bulb just went out. Uh-oh. Alfie needs a light.
Give me a moment. I'll be right back. Continue.
I'll keep yakking on. I'll yak on. We'll let Alfie fix his stuff. I don't want to go off on the whole point I was going to make. So I'll wait till he comes back. So I'll just give my thoughts about the past week. I know I've probably come off as an angry fan most of the time, but I'm actually quite happy with the past week. that Sunderland win, which I think we discussed last stream, great win. That Madrid game was very stressful. It was very chaotic, but we won the game. So I'm very pleased with that. That's a great result at a very tough place. Our House of Horrors, like we've had some of the most gut-wrenching, heartbreaking games imaginable in that stadium. So it's great to win that game. And I've got plenty to whine about that. Not on City end. The City end was fine. I don't know. I'm just going to be whining about the ref and Rudiger because, it's a whining show. We have to whine about something. And I don't have anything to whine about City about. So I'm whining about the ref, even though thankfully it didn't cost us anything. But that guy, I'm sorry. If you're that incompetent at your job, there's only two explanations. There's literally one explanation for you being that incompetent. It's you have to be getting money. You have to be getting paid off by Perez. Because if you are not getting paid off by Perez, then you are so terrible and incompetent at your job that you need to be removed from it because you're terrible at it. You're awful. You're so bad. For you to miss some of those most obvious calls, to be so blatantly biased, like it's just unacceptable. It screams of corruption and a payoff. And you want to know where conspiracy theories come from? It comes from things like that. So, yeah, that was a point. And I usually am not one to whine about the refs. How long have we been streaming now? I don't think I think I've hardly ever mentioned the refs because I just generally don't complain about it unless when it's that egregious. Like it's just so unbelievably over the top. Like, in particular, Rudiger should have been sent off because remember he fouled Savinho outside of the box and he didn't get a second yellow for it when like 5 minutes before the exact same thing happened on the other end of the pitch and the City player who committed the foul, I believe it was Nico O'Reilly. I could be wrong on that. Whoever it was, they got booked. And then literally the exact same thing happens and the Real Madrid player did not get booked. So that to me is just bias. It's just terrible refereeing, and that guy should be ashamed of himself, man. That was just absolutely embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassing, I just put the League Cup on. Let's see if Cardiff City can knock out Chelsea. Because imagine if Chelsea got knocked out, and imagine if we win tomorrow, we could potentially play Cardiff City for 2 legs in February or whatever, and that would be lovely to be able to play Cardiff City. But I don't really have faith in that. I'm just kind of wishful thinking right now. It's 0-0 in the 20th minute, but always fun to kind of talk about. And then the Palace game. Difficult game. I don't know if I fully agree with Alfie. I thought the first half was pretty boring because it was. They had a very tight block. We were struggling to break it down. We finally did have that magical moment where we did break it down and scored the goal. But I thought the second half was actually quite better. I think big tactical adjustment that I want to applaud Pep for is he put Foden in the midfield. And what were we missing in the first half of the game is the ball was struggling to get from Nico G up to the forward players because he had no support in that midfield. I know people claim that there was another midfielder next to him doing the job, but he wasn't. He was running around elsewhere. He wasn't controlling the tempo and he wasn't facilitating the play. It was a lot of times it was the fullbacks doing that, and it just changed so much when Foden started doing that. And this solidifies to me why I want to see Foden as an 8. I think he does that very well. He's learning, and the problem is he'll do it for a game, and then Pep moves him every game to accommodate somebody else. And that to me is the most frustrating aspect about it because I think he's done the best job, but he keeps getting moved. Like notice he had to go on the left wing. Nobody else got moved. He got moved. And it's that to me has just been the story of Phil Foden's career. He constantly has to be moved. Part of it is he's a very versatile player, But he had to be moved so that somebody else could play in a position where I think Foden should have been. And I think Foden would have done a better job. And as you could tell, he did. When he got into that spot in the second half, I think he did the better job. So, yeah, I just, but whatever. Yeah, like I said, so Phil Foden, he got to where he needed to be, and we looked a lot better. We looked very fluid. I love the connection between him and Cherky, man. Like that has been the most exciting thing about this season, man.
My apologies. Oh my god, I'm so late. There you go. My apologies. Yeah, my light just stopped working. So
the problem is your light bulb probably burnt out, but it's too hot to unscrew it.
No. So I don't use a light bulb. It's a special type of light, which is it's a rectangle, and it's LEDs inside the rectangle, and it's lined. And
I have those too. They're so annoying.
Yeah, it's a problem with those types of lights. You can't replace the light bulb because there's no light bulb inside.
Yeah.
And
you basically just had to buy a new light. Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah. So it just burned through, which shouldn't happen, but I've let my light on for all day, so that's probably why it happened. And it said, "Nah, fuck you, I'm not doing this." And yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I noticed that when I bought this house, it had a fan that had an LED in it, and I had to replace it. I couldn't replace the lights. I had to replace the whole fan, but I wanted to get rid of the fan anyway. But the problem was I couldn't find one that I liked that ran on light bulbs, so I just had to go with LED.
You know what the thing is with LED? LED is so much more efficient because it uses way less energy, and it's brighter as well. But the slightest thing and it's fucked. It's so fragile. That's the annoying thing.
Luckily, I only paid like $30 for this new light. So
that's the thing about LED. It's cheap and it's cheap and it's energy efficient. That's why it's used everywhere. But at the slightest thing, and it's destroyed, bro. That's the annoying part.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyhow, big up to Chris, by the way, who's not been in chat for a while. Who do you think has been the best signing so far? So I'm assuming he means the summer signings. I think without debate, it's Cherky.
I think Donnarumma has a very good shout too, though, because I think he has completely transformed our defense. I know he has his inadequacies going forward, and that does rear its head from time to time, but it's made us so much stronger defensively. And when you think about the price that he cost, and right now PSG are crying because they don't have him. There's rumors in the French news press today that Chevalier is apparently no longer number one disputed. It's whoever trains better. So they're apparently unhappy with Chevalier, who I'll be honest, I watched him a lot last season and I really liked him, and I would not have minded Chevalier at City, but it hasn't worked out at PSG. So I think they missed Donnarumma quite a bit, is the point I'm trying to make. I always have a very long-winded answer and I never get to my point. So another example of that. But Ryan Cherky too, man. I think Cherky is going to be one of the best value signings in the Premier League, like in the past 10 years. That price for what he's doing is ridiculous.
Donnarumma has a good shout as well. Goalkeepers are always difficult to compare to on-field players, but if I look at what's his name, Trafford, I think Trafford could have done a decent job. He would have been nowhere near Donnarumma, by the way. Let me just clarify that. But I think he could have done a decent job. I think Cherky is someone we desperately needed because we didn't have a 10. So that's why I'd say Cherky is a bit better of a signing. Doesn't mean he's played better so far or he's a better player. But it does mean for me that he's the more important signing to make. And we got them both at the end of the day. That's the important part. But I think so far Cherky, to be honest. So we needed that creator. And you can see the way he links up with Foden, the way he links up with Haaland. It's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, how quickly he's settling into the team is very impressive. And I love the chemistry he and Foden have. I was kind of waxing about that while you were away. It's crazy because I just think ballers know, ball knows ball. They're just so techie. You can tell they feed off of each other's energy, and I think they try to out tech each other. I think they have this like little secret competition every game to see who can out tech each other, and I think Foden's never really had that on the team. It's all been very structured around him, and Kev was different, but I think Phil and Turkey are just cut from the same cloth, and they just have that like telepathic connection that I don't think he's ever really had with anyone he's ever played with on City or even on the national team. Like he finally has someone who can play at his speed, and it's just so fun to watch. It's been a great part of this season.
Yeah, another thing that's important to understand as well is when you have like a team full of players who are soft, you're going to get overpowered a lot.
We've seen that plenty of times this season.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva has always been our tough guy. Not physically, but mentally. He's been our tough guy. De Bruyne as well. And I think we were lacking that with this team. We didn't have De Bruyne's... I mean, I'm sorry to say it. De Bruyne is a brat. I promise you, all Belgians think the same. You guys have not seen his interviews in Dutch. I have. Jesus Christ, he's an entitled brat. But you need that. You need that on a pitch. And we didn't have that with De Bruyne because he left. Bernardo Silva is getting old, so he's not bringing that stink house, shit house energy anymore. So we were kind of losing those players. Haaland, he can be fiery, but he's pretty humble overall.
Jack had a lot of it too.
Yeah, Jack, but I feel like Jack was just taking the piss. That's not really the same. Which you also need that, I think, but again,
him on the corner flag at the end of the game, him and Haaland, that was my favorite kind of shit housing. Like that, we didn't see a lot of it, but that was nice. Mahrez did a little bit of that too.
Yeah,
but he was kind of in that like, hey, like I'm a nice guy, but I'm actually not a nice guy type thing.
Yeah, I agree completely. And by the way, Sri, the Whining show is just the name of the show. We're not really whining about. We're whining about the Madrid referee. We'll whine about.
Yeah, I did that while you were gone, so I've got it out of my system.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'll whine about him in a second too, but Whining show is just the name of the stream. It's nothing serious.
We're taking the piss with that one. I think we came up with it like after we like lost to Spurs or something, and whatever we like at some point we had something we really wanted to whine about. I don't remember what it was. Like maybe it was some idiotic rotation or some player was being crap.
I think it was the Brighton game.
Yeah, maybe it was a Brighton game. Yeah. So that's where the roots of the show came from. So.
Oh no, it was Monaco. It was Monaco. I remember that.
Oh, was it Monaco? Yeah.
But,
I mean, we'll always find something, but sometimes we have to really try hard to whine. Because like I said earlier, I said I was whining, but I wasn't whining about City. I was whining about a game City was involved in, but oh, come on, Cardiff. Come on. Or is that Chelsea?
Who is Cardiff playing?
Oh, no, Chelsea are wearing white. Never mind. That was Chelsea. They're playing. It's the FA or the Carabao Cup game on right now. Cardiff is hosting Chelsea. I thought Cardiff was wearing white, but they're actually wearing blue.
What's the 11th here?
Oh, God, I heard rotation was in it, so I don't even know.
Quite heavy rotation for Chelsea. I hope they get fucking slapped. I
do too. I could look this up. I just turned it on.
What are you talking about?
Well, they switched it. It used to be on a network that I don't they don't pay for, but but they switched it on to one that I do. So I'm like, I got it. I want to maximize this service I'm paying for. And they just over.
I don't think I get Carabao Cup games.
I heard the FA Cup is not going to be on in England, and I'm like, well, guess what? It's going to be on in America, so don't worry, guys. We're going to have a watch along.
I mean, that's just taking the piss, isn't it? English FA Cup. It's not in England.
Okay, I found Chelsea's lineup. Wow. Caicedo's playing, though. It's Jorgensen, Achimpong, Who's that? Tosin? I can't say Tosin's last name. Badiashile Hato. Santos Caicedo. Gittins, Buena Note, George, and Gui.
By the way,
Guyi.
I just want to say, are we ready yet to call Caicedo overrated? Because we always have this debate. Caicedo is the best midfielder in the league. Caicedo this, Caicedo that. Then he does something stupid. His team pays the price for it, and he doesn't tend to make.
Well, I'm not going to say Declan Rice is better than him, so I'll pick Caicedo.
I am going to say that, actually.
You what?
I am going to say that Declan Rice is better than Caicedo. Because if you put Declan Rice and Caicedo in the same team, it's not going to work because you need someone to drive forwards. So you'd have to drop one or the other. I'd drop Caicedo and keep Rice.
I think Rice is far worse on ball than Caicedo. I think Caicedo is much better on ball. So I think it just depends on what you're looking for. Rice fits better in Arsenal because they're very defensive. And I think Rice is elite defensively. I think he's probably the best defensive midfielder. That's why I don't know why they play him as a 6. I don't know why they play him as an 8 because I think he's not good on ball. I'm taking almost any other midfielder in the world as an 8 over Declan Rice because I think on ball he doesn't create anything. He's just I don't rate his passing.
I disagree.
The only thing he's good at is the corners.
I think he's okay on the ball. I don't think he's as good as Arsenal fans say he is on the ball, but he's okay on the ball. But defensively, he's incredible. I think
defensively, he's absolutely elite.
So,
probably best in the world defensively. So play him as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, if you're picking a 6, I'm picking Rice over Caicedo because I can have my ball carriers and my 10 as the 8 and the 10, not as the 6. Because let's be honest, Caicedo, he doesn't play well when he plays in the 8. At least I don't think he does, because he doesn't bring the ball forwards quickly enough. When he plays as the 6, yeah, he's very good on the ball, but he's not good enough defensively. And in the 10, he's just not creative enough. So and there's no position where I'd put Caicedo and call him the best at his position or very good at his position. I think Declan Rice, as a 6, when surrounded by a proper 8 and a proper 10, is incredible. I think Caicedo...
You'll never see that at Arsenal, though. You would have at Man City.
That's the fault of their manager, not the player.
Last season, if Declan Rice was at Man City last season, he probably could have. He probably would have won us the league because he would have just filled that hole so nicely.
Absolutely.
And I don't know who our 8 would have been, but we still had De Bruyne at that point. Like, I know our midfield was a disaster, but if he just plugged that hole, everyone else could play where they're better. Like Kovacic could have played as an 8, where he's so much better. He's just terrible as a 6. And Phil Foden, whatever he was doing, maybe he figures his issues out. I don't know, but I think it would have been enough to win us the league last year because last year the league was not that good.
I think the problem for Kovacic is the exact opposite of Declan Rice. They should swap clubs.
Yeah, Kova's much better as an 8. I don't know. We might have seen the last of Kovacic, so I'm not too confident he's going to make it back from that injury.
Yeah, I think that injury is the last of him. He comes back, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he comes back in March. Right
in the middle of a stretch run. Yeah, right. Come on.
Yeah.
Unless we're just dying with injuries, I can't imagine him being fit in. I can't.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever touching the pitch again for Man City.
I don't know how we're going to sell him then next summer because we need him to go. Like, we need to move him on because we need that space for someone else. Like, we need that space so that a new midfielder can come in. Because that's our problem right now is we don't have space for the midfielder we need because the ones we have are all injured. And I mean, I hope Rodri comes back, but I think I'm very excited for Rodri to come back, but like I'm just nervous because I think Pep has mismanaged him really badly post ACL. I think he played him too much in the Club World Cup, and then this season to start the season, he just played him way too much. Like for me, the glaring issue was the when we had that stretch after the international break where United, Napoli, and Arsenal, and he played him in all 3 of those games. Like That to me, I think just messed everything up. And he played him too much in the Club World Cup as well, because remember, he got injured at the end of that game, the Al Hilal game.
Yeah.
Like, the reason he missed the start of the season is because he got that injury. And it's like, I just think we pushed him way too hard, way too fast. So I'm hoping that Nico G's emergence will allow Rodri to settle in slowly. Like if Rodri comes back and starts the first game that he plays, like that to me is like, forget it. We learned no lessons. Like, I think you can only play him one game a week to start. I mean, if you want to sub him, fine, maybe. But like, I don't think you can play him more than one game a week for the first couple of weeks, just to make sure he can get his match fitness in. Because it's different than training. It's different than practice. Like, it's just.
If I'm looking at the contract right now for Kovacic. So it expires June 30th, 27. And
yeah,
his wages his base wages are only 150k for a 31-year-old. That's not too bad. But his bonuses are very high. So I'm wondering, what are these bonuses? Because he's got...
I don't know how that works.
He's got 37,500 bonuses.
A week?
A week. So if he joins a different club... So that's potential bonuses, not realized bonuses. If he joins a different club... let's say those are like potential bonuses, but he didn't realize any of them. He's not going to care, right? But if he's realizing most of these bonuses when he plays, he might not want to go to another club, even if the wage itself, the base wage itself is pretty similar. Because, that's a very high potential bonus there. I don't know,
man. It's more Viana did the impossible last summer. I didn't think there was any way he'd get Gundogan off the books. Because remember, Pep made sure that Gundogan made his appearance bonuses or appearance fee, whatever, to trigger that clause in his contract. Pep made sure to do that, and I don't know how the club got rid of Gundogan, because I know Pep wanted him to stay, and I'm sure he wanted to stay, but somebody literally kicked him out the door, and I don't know how they did it. They're gonna have to. Whoever did that, they have to do it next summer, because he's taking up space, man. I'm sorry. It's a cruel thing to say, but we have to move on from some of these players. You know, he was a stopgap, but I think the gap has been stopped now. Like, we have, Nico G has come in and done a great job, and now we need Bernardo to move on. We brought Rangers in. I still think I think he's going to come good. It's taking time, but there are positives in a lot of his games. So let's give him the time. But we need to clear Kova and Bernardo's space to bring in the bruiser that we need in this midfield.
I don't see Reinders as the Bernardo replacement. So I see him more as the Gundogan replacement. Anderson, should we get him? I see him as the replacement for Kovacic. So Anderson is your Kovacic replacement. What's his name? Tijani is the Gundogan replacement. Maybe you can say
Cherki's the 10 replacement. Ish.
Maybe you could say Cherki is the Bernardo replacement.
No. Okay. Well, okay. Then Foden is the replacement for Kev.
Well, no, because Foden's already been here for a while. He can't be a replacement for himself.
I meant the role within the squad. But it took him it took him till De Bruyne leaving for him to actually realize that he could have, you know what I mean, get to that spot.
I think we replaced De Bruyne by getting a winger. Because nobody can fill the void. Nobody can do what De Bruyne did for us. So just get someone who does something entirely different. I think that might be the plan.
Also, something we also have to realize is that we some of these players you can't replace with one player. Like Kev, I don't think you'll ever replace with one player. When Rodri, I hope Rodri extends, but when Rodri does leave eventually, you can't replace him with one player.
But you have
two players in one.
You have to replace them with one player, because you can only start with 11 players anyhow. So you have to replace these players with one player. If you can't get the exact same profile, it means you need to switch system.
Yeah. I think that's something we're alluding to. But we are seeing kind of the changes. Nico G's obviously he's doing a job, but he'll never do the Rodri job because you'll have to bring in a second player for that.
I agree that he'll never do
things will have to change, but
I agree he'll never do the Rodri job. But when Aguero left, we said we'll never replace him. When Fernandinho left, we said we'll never replace him. We've had a lot of players. Zabaleta, we're never going to replace him. We replaced him with the greatest ever Premier League right back. So we've had a lot of players leave. Company, we'll never replace him. Then we get Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz has been great. Diaz has been great this season too. I think he's been mad underrated.
I think everyone's rating him. I've not seen anyone slander Ruben Diaz this season.
Our rivals have definitely.
Our rivals don't rate any of our players.
Yeah.
Our rivals would still argue older strikers over Erling Haaland. There are still people who don't want to say Erling Haaland with 20 GA in the Premier League already is the best. There are still people who say he's not the best striker in the world or the league. So I don't care what our rivals think, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, they're just so busy waxing poetic about how Gabriel and Saliba are the best in the world and blah, 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 and the best in the whole league, and nobody comes close. And I'm like, Ruben Diaz has quietly been one of the top center backs in the league this season, I would say. I think he's back to his best, and that's the highest compliment I could give to him. I'm because we missed him last season. Really, he struggled. He had a poor season, and and our team struggled. But he's thrown his body around again. He's much better at the aerial duels. Oh, come on, man! You could have scored that.
I said this in the past. So when Ruben Diaz signed his extension, a lot of people were angry, and I said after he signed his extension, Ruben Diaz's prime for us is still yet to come. Ruben Diaz's best season, he's not played it yet. It's going to be sometime in the future. I think Ruben Diaz getting back to his best isn't the greatest compliment you can even give him. I think he'll get beyond what he's already shown to be his best for Man City at some point, because he is a young defender. And in defender terms, the defender is a position that's, especially centre back, that's so heavily determined by experience. Ruben Diaz has never experienced a season like last season. Now he has. He's experienced plenty title-winning seasons. By the way, he's 28. He's not finished, he's 28.
Yeah, I think he turns 29 this summer, but yeah, he's entering his prime. And we locked him down. Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people were definitely crying about his extension, but
he's been
great since signing that extension, man. I think he's really taking that to heart. I think the only thing he's missing now is I want him to be our captain. I think he should be club captain next year. I think it's a little Caicedo. Speaking of Caicedo, he just got booked. I wonder if these Carabao Cups, if that yellow will go into the league. Or does that count towards your suspensions?
Do you know what that reference was that I said earlier? By the way, yellow cards don't count towards Premier League and Carabao Cup. Do you know what that reference was?
No.
I love this clip so much. One sec, let me show you.
Ian Dollamore from Leeds asked for this one. It's Arthur Alverston chatting.
Can you hear the audio?
I can hear it, yeah.
To a caller about Scotland's goalkeeping options.
I'm phoning, about Craig Brown's selection for the Scotland squad.
Yep.
He must know that Hearts have got a good team. We get Colin Cameron in the squad, Stephen Presley. I just don't know why for at least 3 seasons he's been ignoring Antinemi.
Antinemi?
Aye, I don't know why he doesn't get a game.
For Scotland?
Aye.
He's from Finland.
He's what?
He's Finnish, isn't he?
Oh, not finished. He's only 28.
No, not Finnish. He's from...
That's my favorite.
Ruben Diaz is Finnish, eh?
He's not Finnish, he's 28.
I did not know that. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good clip.
Very cool. Big up to Dan, by the way. How are you? By the way, talking about how is Arsenal? Because wow, they struggled against Wolves.
I didn't watch that game. I decided to save myself.
Oh, you missed. You missed prime football right there. Prime football for all the wrong reasons, of course.
Actually, we started. We did a Crystal Palace preview that day, and we started it right at the end. The stream we did ended up going. It turned into a late night space, and it was a 5-hour stream. I was like, "How did we turn this into a 5-hour stream?" But excuse me. Yeah, right when we turned our stream on, though, I was doing it with Strasbourg Steve, and he was like, it's 1-1. I was like, no way. And then I was like, I can't watch this because I was like, if I turn this on, it'll jinx it. And I mean, I didn't have to turn on to jinx it. I was just like, yeah, of course the Wolves are going to find a way to cock it up.
If you had watched it, it wouldn't have jinxed.
Oh, okay. I'll invent the time machine. Sorry.
It's your fault. It's all your fault.
It's all my fault.
No, I'll not say this one. Wow, they were pathetic, Arsenal.
And also, well, when I first became aware it was 0-0, I was like, I can't touch this. I can't. I was like, so I made the decision at 0-0.
Yeah, fair. But the thing is, with Arsenal, when they put in performances like that, it motivates Man City.
It does.
If you're a Man City player and you see Arsenal dropping utter stinkers, you're thinking, we can catch these guys. You were 7 points behind not too long ago. Now you're only 2 points behind, I believe. Oh, we can catch these guys. They just struggled against the worst ever Premier League side. Factually speaking, the least amount of points in December ever. And they struggled to score against that. They didn't score against that. It was 2 own goals. Quite lucky own goals as well. We can catch up to that. When you're a Man City player and you look at that happening, you think we can catch these guys. And that's the thing that I think people don't talk about. Our players must be confident that they can catch Arsenal. Because they've got better teams, let's be honest. Ruben Diaz, he's been behind Liverpool. We won the title. That was a better team than this Arsenal. We were behind a better Arsenal team. And we caught up to them. If I'm a Man City player who's part of that treble squad, part of the 4-beat squad, part of, I guess, 21-22, we don't have many left. I'm feeling confident we can catch that Arsenal team. By the way, we are going to buy players in January. Arsenal won't.
Who do you think we're going to buy in January? Because I'm very confused at this Semenyo link because I keep asking this question. I was asking it last night on a space, and then I asked it again on Twitter this morning. Whose minutes is Semenyo going to take? Because everyone's like, well, he'll take Oscar Bob and Savinho's minutes. And I'm like, Savinho and Oscar Bob aren't playing a lot of minutes right now. They were at the beginning of the season, but they've effectively been shut out of the lineup recently. And someone also mentioned Marmoush, but Marmoush is also not playing. So
Semenyo isn't taking any minutes. He's coming in to come off the bench.
Because, why would he pick coming off of our bench over probably starting for another team? Like if he walks into Liverpool's team because Liverpool they've been benching Salah.
Yeah, but he's won trophies at Man City. And Liverpool is struggling in 10th. He could come off the bench a few times, win a trophy.
Well, for me, when I look at Semenyo, I look right wing. Who's been playing right wing recently? It's been Ryan Turkey, and I don't want to bench him.
But
that's
you don't
the problem.
Have to.
It's like,
but what? If you're chasing a goal, you throw Semenyo on. You're chasing a goal.
I just struggle to see him accepting that role. I don't think because he gets to choose where he wants to go, and I don't see him choosing a bench coming off the bench fighting for your rotation. And we also have Marmoush. Like we already can't play Marmoush anywhere because. He won't play.
Marmoush will be fine once it's been AFCON because you also need to consider he's gonna play every game in AFCON, full 90s. So when he's come,
they played a friendly today. I wonder because he only played like 2 minutes on Sunday, so I wonder if he.
Yeah, but that's because it was a friendly. But he's gonna play every game in AFCON. So if he's gonna play every game in AFCON. He's already going to come back a bit fatigued. if you play him 5 games in a row, then he goes to AFCON, plays every game, and now you bring him back, and now you need him. Well, now he's not ready to start every game. So maybe we just rested him because we needed him ready for after AFCON.
Maybe, yeah. I think AFCON will help him get match fit. I think that's one thing he's been lacking hard. And he can't get the match fitness because he's not playing. So AFCON will give him that opportunity. But I'm hoping that he just slots back in and starts playing. Like, even if he's not starting games, like I want to see him come on the last 20, 30 minutes, not the last 2 minutes. Because he has a lot to offer this team, especially in games. If we start facing a lot of these low blocks and Holland's not firing, like Marmoush is a certified goal threat. He had 40 GNA last season combined between the two teams. I think he scored 10 goals for us when he came in January, and that was a very dysfunctional team. So I give him a lot of credit for that, and I think that's somebody I want. Like if we're trailing late in the game to come on for 30 minutes, not for 2 minutes. He's not going to make an impact in 2 minutes, but 30 minutes, he could get a goal in 30 minutes. I think.
I think we'll see Marmoush starting to start some games, and also I don't mind buying players and not working out. If we keep buying good players and we've got other players who just bully them out of the team, that means we're getting the best of the best. I don't mind that.
True. And at the end of the day, I'm not being Marmoush FC. I think we'll probably sell him this summer. I think he's probably gonna go. I don't know if he fits into this tactic, and I don't know if he's willing to wait around because Pep changes tactics. I mean, it's usually not a dramatic change, but he'll change something next season. And I don't know if Marmoush is willing to stick around to wait for that. I think he might just want to be like, nah, I'm gonna go somewhere where I can start games.
Well, on the counter argument is we've had players who did wait for that. Gundogan himself waited for that because when Gundogan was first, he was definitely not very favored, despite being the first player Pep signed. But Gundogan waited for this moment. Sometimes you just have to wait for your moment. Gundogan had already won 2 Bundesliga titles at that point, by the way.
And he was in a Champions League final, yeah. He was also injured when he came to City. So
I always forget that Dortmund played that final against Bayern München. I just have in my mind, Bayern München wins the treble. I always forget it was against Dortmund.
And Gundogan scored in that final. Remember, he got the penalty.
Yeah, he did.
It was like 2-1 the final, I think it was. Yeah, he actually scored in that
2-1
final. Yeah, and it was a penalty, and he scored the penalty. So,
but for us, he can't score penalties.
Oh God! Wait, what was it? It must have been the treble season or whatever season it was, and Holland gave him the chance to get the hat trick, and he missed the pen.
Oh yeah, that was against Everton. Treble
season.
Yeah,
that was crazy because that's when we were still really close, and we hadn't secured anything yet. I know we did secure it before the.
Yeah, and then they scored against us immediately afterwards.
Yeah. Oh God, I remember the press conference. Pep was like, "I can to be a fly on the wall in the dressing room right after that game ended."
I remembered Pep Guardiola saying, I'm paraphrasing here, but I remember Pep Guardiola saying something like, "Erling Haaland will always take the penalties. He will never give up penalties again." Then an FA Cup final.
Oh God.
Absolute cinema. Maybe we should have remembered the lesson from the treble season. Just saying. But by the way, I would never allow my penalty taker to give up a penalty. Even if we're 5-0 up, you never give up a penalty. You're the penalty taker, you take it. As long as you're fit to take a penalty, you take it. I will never allow my penalty taker not to take the penalty. I think giving up a penalty, it's such a stupid idea. Oh, I'm being selfless. I'm giving someone else a goal. No, you need to score your penalties. You're giving the team a chance to fuck up. You're putting pressure on someone else to fuck up. I think it's a very short-sighted solution or help. I don't think it's selfless at all. I think it's just stupid to give up to give your penalty to someone else.
Oh, Joshko last season, or no, the season before in the 4-peat, remember?
Yeah, he could have had a hat trick.
That Fulham game, yeah. He was on the hat trick, and we got the penalty, and Alvarez took it.
Yeah, as he should have. He's the penalty taker. He should take it.
I know. I think Yashko will get. I think he will get a hat trick at some point. I just don't know what. Maybe not anymore because it's center back. But I'd rather him just be a center back. Because speaking of Yashko, I thought he was very good in that Crystal Palace game.
You know,
he's been getting a lot of crap lately because of like, oh, he makes one mistake and everyone's all over it. But I thought he was very good in the Madrid game too.
I think he's been very good every game. He's just made like 2 mistakes all season, and people are killing him over 2 mistakes.
I'm in group chats with those people. I hear it. They call him, he's just a supermodel who doesn't care about defending and all this stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
It's not even
Jan.
that.
Sure, Jan. Okay.
I'm going to go into our rant again here.
Oh, good. Your turn, because I already had mine.
Too many people don't actually understand how football works. Listen, when you say, I use the eye test, it doesn't matter because you're blind. You can't say, I'm using the eye test if you're blind. You can't ignore statistics. And if you don't watch the game, you can't pull up statistics and pretend you watched the game. You need both. So many people genuinely do not understand football. I'm
probably one of them, so I'm sure I know you at times.
I was arguing 2 or 3 hours ago in a group chat with someone saying that Kovacic has been poor for us. And I was like, Kovacic is our best ball carrier. And he said, no, he isn't. I've got eyes. And I gave him a statistics sheet. He's the best ball carrier in the league last season, statistically. But it's not true because I have the eye test. Well, on the eyes, he's a very great ball carrier. But people who just don't understand football yet, they don't know what to rate. So many people don't rate a good defender like Ruben Diaz because he doesn't defend in a fancy way. They want defenders to do these fancy tackles. Why? If you can clear the ball at the halfway line, why make a fancy tackle halfway down your half? It doesn't make sense. But people don't get that. The amount of times Ruben Diaz stops out opponents from countering by clearing a ball on the halfway line, and people don't rate it because they don't understand it. They've never played it. If you've never played football, I can just tell the people who've never played football because they don't understand how much off the ball matters. It's another thing. Off the ball. Again, you don't understand this unless you've played football, I think, or you actually try to empathize, but most people can't do that.
No. Maybe that's why I have so many issues noticing some of this stuff. I'm trying to get better at it, but I mean, one player I'm always critical of is Bernardo Silva. And I know he does a lot off ball. I'm starting to see it more and more, but I still seem to be missing
no,
quite
but
a
last
bit
season he was just shit at that too. But
well, you can't say that. You can't say that.
You'll get killed for that one. But
for that one.
This season he's been a lot better to Silva. But as I was saying, off the ball, anyone who has played football understands this. Football is not played with the ball. Most of the game, you will not have the ball. Most of the game, you are not touching the ball.
Sorry, we have a visitor. Can you say hi?
Big up Katniss.
Big up Katniss. In HD. Here, there we go.
If there are 22...
Lower my lap so she disappears off camera. Oh, God.
If there are 22 players on the pitch, 22 players on the pitch, what is the chance of you touching a ball? 1 in 22. At any given time, you having possession is a 1 in 22 chance, which isn't even true because sometimes the ball is in the air. Sometimes the ball is on a set piece. So it's less than 1 in 22 chance at every single moment that you'll have the ball, which is also not true because if you're an attacker, you'll have the ball even less. If you're a defensive midfielder, you'll have the ball more. If you're an attacking midfielder, you'll have the ball less because attacking midfielders move the ball quickly because that's their job. So they lose possession as soon as they get it because their job is to move the ball quickly.
Yeah.
So the point is, your chance at any given moment to have the ball in a football game is less than 1 in 22. Most of football is played without the ball. If you can't understand that, you'll never know how to rate or play it properly. That's why people don't rate Cristiano Ronaldo, why people don't rate Erling Haaland, why people don't rate Alan Shearer, even if you want to go back in time, why people don't rate Ruben Diaz, why people don't rate a lot of centre backs, really. They don't understand how football actually works. They just don't understand it. Most of the game, you don't have the ball. What are you doing off the ball? This is, by the way, another reason why people rate Hazard so highly. Oh, but he looks so good on the ball. His understanding of the game, of the ball, is poor. Like, I'm talking League One level poor. His insane technical ability did not cover for that fact at every time. And a lot of times for Belgium, he cost the game with his poor understanding of tactics. But people don't see that because, looks fancy on the ball. Okay. But then you just don't understand football.
Some of these Hazard.
To round up my question, to round up, not question, but to round up my rant, there was a question asked to Erling Haaland in the treble season. And the question was, how do you try to score when you don't, how difficult is it to score when you don't have any impact on the game at all because you don't touch the ball? And Haaland answered, well, I do have an impact. I'm making my runs. I'm moving between the lines. I'm trying to position myself in space, or I'm trying to drag defenders. That's the perfect answer. Just because you not having the ball doesn't mean you don't have an impact. And a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah. Chelsea had they put Garnacho and João Pedro on for the at halftime because they're being so terrible at Cardiff. Although I don't know if those two are going to help because Garnacho's shit and I don't rate João Pedro that much. He's been awful since going to Chelsea, if you ask me.
Massive Cardiff,
Big up Wales. Isn't Bevo from Wales? If he is, big up.
Yes.
There you go.
I think he's from
Bevo.
Cardiff, even, if I remember correctly. By the way, Rosa, that shark looks sinister with this lighting. It kind of
does. That shark's gonna be swimming in the waters. He's probably already out there looking for some red.
He's in the Thames,
Yeah. He's working his way up. He just came in through the ocean, so he's kind of meandering his way towards London.
What type of shark is Man City, do you think?
A blue shark.
Well, those don't swim in the Thames.
No.
Yeah, there's a shark called the spur dog, actually, which you can find in the River Thames.
Turning into this a zoology lesson. If my best friend was here right now, she would be going crazy. She majored in zoology at college. Used to work at a zoo, so she knows what you're referring to. I've got no idea.
You've got the starry smooth mouth. I think that could be Man City. Let me show you, because it's kind of blue, not really, but it's kind of blue. So maybe this is Man City.
Ooh,
this is a shark which can be found in the River Thames. So that's the river that goes through London.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Sorry, Ooh, he's got very pretty spots on his back.
Yeah, that Man City. Close enough. Not quite blue, but it's close enough. That is just that's a process.
I was gonna say, what kind of shark are we? We're looking for Jaws. That's who we're looking for. We're coming at you like Jaws on the beach.
Beautiful. Anyhow,
or the San Jose Sharky, if anybody. I doubt anybody in the audience knows that reference, but
speaking of Santa, by the way, Nick Woltemada's own goal.
Oh, jeez. Someone sent me the clip of Steve Steve was doing a watch along on a different channel. He ditched us on True City Fan TV. Tisk. So I was giving him a bunch of crap for that goal. It was really funny. I had the game on and I was like, German Steve just scored for Sunderland. I was like, no way.
He's the best player in Newcastle.
Oh, he scored a goal on a derby. What can you do?
Can't stop him from scoring. Not even against your own team.
Oh, jeez. They're saying that this brand of Newcastle, these players are not as familiar with how important that derby is. I'm like, yeah, I guess he had no clue. Scoring for the other team. If you did that in the 90s, you'd have to go live in another town for a couple of weeks because your house would be surrounded. Like you would get, fans are a little soft, man. They don't. They're chasing the players down like they used to, or are they? Maybe they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just harassing on social media from behind a screen. They're not actually going out into the elements and doing anything.
Back in my day, well, not back in your day, they used to kill Brazilian players for
Alfie's calling me old.
And back in your day, Brazilians killed their own player for missing a penalty.
Wow. Yep. I mean, it's football. It's football for you, man. I mean, yeah, you gotta look up the old what is it, the firms and stuff that's why we have away sections, and that's why we have bans on colors in pubs and stuff.
Oh, sorry, not a penalty, an own goal. Escobar.
Did he lose to Argentina or something? Is that why? What was so magnified about it?
I don't remember, but Escobar was killed because he missed because he scored an own goal
in
the 1994 World Cup.
We don't condone any violence on this channel.
Obviously, but that shows how fucking ridiculous football fans used to be. Because when people say, "Oh, you don't need all these," people are angry sometimes about the amount of measures that are taken in a stadium to keep things safe, and they're like, "Oh, everything's woke. Why is this not allowed? Why is that not allowed?" 1994 is not that long ago.
Yeah, that's when the hooligan culture was going really strong in England, wasn't it? Isn't that led to all these like bans and stuff?
Yeah, hooligan culture in England was the 1980s mostly.
Oh, more than the 80s. Okay.
Then
that was before my time.
Hey, there you go. Not quite your time yet.
Well, I was born in the 80s, but the only two things I remember from the 80s were two very traumatic things that happened in my life. So, because I was very young, so you don't have many memories, and you only remember bad things when you're young. I had an accident, and so I remember being put into an ambulance from the accident, and then the big earthquake happened in 1989 in San Francisco, and I was living just south of San Francisco, so I remember that very vividly. Like I have very clear memories of that to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that.
So yeah, that's about it for the 80s. That's about all I remember. I was much younger when the accident happened, so I have a very, very faint memory of that. And that's the earliest thing I actually remember. Like,
one of my earliest memories is also something dramatic, but it's actually kind of funny in retrospect because, like when you're like working with metal and you want to melt them together, right? There's a special thing for that. I don't know the name in English.
I probably don't know in English either.
You've got a handle, and you've got a metal staff. That metal staff can be as hot as 400 Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit.
Oh, I understand how hot that is in, let's see. If it's 180, that's about 350. So that's probably about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that.
Yeah, so it was music playing.
Oh.
I was 2 or 3 years old. It was at my grandpa's house. I remember it vividly. My dumbass grabbed this thing, but not by the handle.
Oh, by the
hot part. Oh! And I can tell you, I still remember the feeling of my face, of my hand boiling, of my skin boiling. That is such an old feeling, but I still remember that feeling. Oh, I've never forgotten that.
That was blood curdling.
So
I had an accident. Yeah, I cut my leg open in 2 places, and I was taking a bath when it happened, and I threw something sharp into the bathtub because somebody irresponsible at my house left something sharp in the bathroom that I could go find and throw in the bathtub, and then jump in. Yeah, my mom said, because my mom went and it was like, she was supervising me, and then she went to go check on dinner, and then she comes back. Imagine walking back into a bathtub, and the water's just full of blood. And you're just like,
how old were you again?
I was 3.
Okay.
I was 3 years old. Yeah, I was 3 years old. And I remember going into the back of the ambulance. And then I still have some pretty massive scars on my legs from it. It's 2 spots. One of them's like right below my knee, so you can see it pretty well. The other one's like my upper thigh, so that one's harder to. Yeah, probably at the beach or something. People will be like, "What happened?" Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To be fair, I don't have any scars except hair on my head. I don't know if you can see it very well. And
maybe are you Harry Potter?
No.
It's shaped like a lightning bolt.
No, it's you can't see it very well on camera. You can see it better in person. But I've got that scarred because we were on holiday in was it Czechia, I believe. It was either Germany or Czechia because my parents went to Czechia and then Germany in 2 consecutive weeks.
Was it Czechoslovakia back then?
Oh, I'm not that old. And I must have been 5 years old, I think. And it was this like I had a bed, and by the bed was like a table. And normally I was always with my parents in the bedroom, but I wanted to be with my brothers. So I'm in the bedroom with my brothers. I'm jumping up on that bed.
Oh.
My brothers, still a bit young as well. One of them pushes me.
Oh no.
So I slammed my head right into that table.
Did you see stars?
No, I didn't see anything. I just went black, and then I woke up, and then it was like, well, what the fuck happened there? But bro, that fucking hurt. I can tell you that much.
I've actually seen stars once in my life. That was crazy.
Part of my skull was actually exposed because it was that bad. The skin here is very light, to be fair. It's very easy to expose the skull here, but that hurts.
Oh,
and it also shows that the skull is actually very good at its job because my skull didn't have any damage. There you go, Gloria be the human body.
Yeah. No, seeing stars is trippy, man. It's just like in the shows when it's like, the weird stuff.
I've seen stars once when I've hit my head, and I can't remember what it was because I was just concussed as well. But I think if you see stars, it's almost always a concussion, right? But I hit my head against something. I was just walking around, and I was like in a retail store, and there was like something hanging off a metal plate, and I just banged my head against it.
Chelsea. Oh wow, he's ripping out Garnacho. He just scored. Oh, he's doing the freaking celebration, man. It's like, dude, it's a Carabao Cup game. Have some shame.
Did he do the sue for that?
No, he's doing the sitting on the podium thing, where he sits down and does the like Ronaldo or whatever. And I'm just like, dude, it's Cardiff City. Wow, have some shame.
Calm down, my guy. You're not him. So I hit my head against that, and I swear down. It was like.
That was a terrible.
Do you know?
Cardiff. Wow.
Do you know what the flashbang effect is in a movie? Like where they just make it white, and then they like do one scene, and they quickly cut to another scene, and they cut to another scene. Like it's like all chopped up. That's what it felt like. Because it was like, and the world was turning. And I was laying down, but I felt like I was standing up. It was so trippy. And that's
I was up at the lake. I was up at the lake. I was like 7 or 8, and my I have an older cousin who's like, I mean, at the time he's like 3.5 years older than I am, and so as a kid, I don't have any siblings, so he was similar to age. We lived close to each other, so he was kind of like my older brother growing up, and he was just a total, and he threw a rock at me, and it hit me in the head, and I was in the water too, and I literally fell into the water, and I saw stars on the way down, man. It was bad, and I just started crying, and it was awful. And his mom didn't even really punish him. We were staying in a cabin together, so like I had to go home to that. My mom got so mad that she went and we stayed in a hotel that night because she was so pissed off. She's like, I can't be in the same house as all.
That's why would you joke a rock at someone? That's so fucked up.
I don't think he was. I don't know if he was throwing it out to hit at me, but It was a very, very poor throw, but it hit me square in the forehead, and I still remember the stars, man. It was just weird. It was a weird feeling because if I had been further out, man, I could have drowned or something, man. Luckily, I didn't pass out, but that could have been like scary. Like that was really dumb on his part.
I did nearly drown once. That's a board rate, but so we're global dumping at this point.
We're turning. This is derailed. This is officially derailed. This is the trauma segment right before I have to go to work because I have to go on 5 minutes. So we got 5 minutes to talk trauma. I think Chelsea score here again. Nope.
It's Chelsea winning, by the way, to the 1-0 up.
Yeah,
now.
Chelsea are up 1-0. Oh, they almost made it 2-0, but he curled it over the bar. They're at Cardiff City, so.
So when I was like 10 years old, I think, something like that, you know, it's not a good idea to let children swim in the sea alone.
No, yeah, believe it or not, that's not a good idea.
So
even a lake can be hazardous.
Yeah, a lake can be more dangerous actually because lakes are closed off, so you can actually just go down in a lake, which doesn't really happen in a sea. I mean, it can happen, but that's very rare. Because in sea, what you'll usually get is a riptide, and you'll just be off.
Yeah, you'll be just gone.
But you won't go down. So I was in sea, and there's not a lot of waves in Belgium. But I'm a little kid, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
My parents kept telling me, don't go in the water, don't go in the water. What do? I go into the fucking water. Fully clothed, all of that. Suddenly, a wave comes, and I lose my balance. I don't know how, but I'm suddenly way up the sea when I wasn't before. I wasn't that far, but for a kid, it's very far. And I couldn't swim because I was fully in my clothes. So I was just going... I was just gasping for air, and I tried to shout, but you can't shout when you're drowning. Like in the movies, when you're drowning, you hear people shout. You can't shout when you're drowning because water just fills your lungs.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not breathing properly because you're panicked. Yeah.
And I remember very quickly, someone came over and pulled me out of the water. But if they hadn't done that, I could have been a bit fucked.
Yikes.
But yeah.
Swimming with the fish, or sleeping with the fish, as they like to say. Although that's more of a...
Yeah.
So
that's trauma dumping done. That's trauma dumping done.
The trauma segment is now officially over. Now we just get traumatized by this terrible football. How do you? Well, we could wrap up on this. What do you think the rotation will be for tomorrow? Because I know there'll be some, but I think there's actually going to be some starters in there because I think we just simply don't have rotation.
I hope there's going to be some starters in there because I don't want to throw the game away. I want to win the Carabao Cup.
I do too, yeah.
So I think obviously Savio will play left wing because of the injuries and what's his name? Marmouche going off. So I think Savio will play left wing. I think Haaland will start.
So do I. I have a lineup. I did a previous stream. I'll just share it with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick. I think Trafford, and then my back line, I have Ake left back, Ruben Diaz center back, Husanov center back, Mateus Nunes right back. Sorry, Nico G, you're gonna have to start this game because Tijani's awful at this. So I think Nico G will be the poor DM. I think Foden will be with him in the midfield, and also I think Rico Lewis will be in the midfield. And then my front line is Savinho, Haaland, and Oscar Bob. So I think that's a good blend. You know, you have the spine is what's important. Is you're keeping a really good spine.
I agree.
So,
I think we might see
try to win the game at the half and then start making your subs. Take the starters out.
I think we might see
Tijani in for
start as well. So Husanov might start, but for the rest, I think it's going to be pretty much a starting 11. Husanov will start. I think Savio will start. I think it's a big chance Bob starts.
Yeah.
Lewis maybe, but I'm not quite sure. But for the rest, I think it's just going to be starting 11. I think
for Lewis, I debated where he was going to play because he could start at right back, but I'd prefer him to be in the midfield. I think he's just better in the midfield because he's better in the pockets, and you don't get a lot of that from right back. And if there's rumors he might not be around much longer, so might as well use. I think he he did very well as an 8 in the FA Cup last year. Remember against Forest, and he scored that goal. So like, I just think he's looked better in the midfield. So I would love it if I think Husinov will play the full 90. I hope he does, but I don't know if it'll necessarily be a center back because you could always. You could always sub Nunes off at halftime to give him a breather and move Husinov to right back, or you could move Rico Lewis to right back. Diaz, you sub him off. You can always move Ake to center back, and then the rumor, I think there'll be some academy players in the mix, and one of them could be Mafuni, who I've heard can play left back. So yeah, throw him in for 50 minutes or whatever. I think Divine Mukasa has if we have a lead going into the second half, I think Divine Mukasa could play some minutes. Tajani could come off the bench. Ryan Cherky can come off the bench because they're playing like Cherky's starting a lot of games, but he's not finishing most of them, and he's also making a lot of sub appearances. So I think he's a little fresher. Get him, and Tajani hasn't been playing a lot of minutes either. So I'd say just try to win the game with like Foden, Holland, and those kind of players, and then try to get them off. Because if we're up like 2 or 3 goals or something, fine. Then you could put Tajani as the 6th. Famous last words, but we don't want to kill Nico G. Is what I'm hoping. He'll get a rest next week though, at least, because we don't have a game in the middle of next week, so that's nice. We get 7 days off between West Ham and Forest. That'll help.
Beautiful. So maybe Silva can start.
I think Silva needs a rest too. Like I said, I think he's playing too much, and oh god, Pedro Neto's coming.
Yeah.
Is that Malagusto?
I think Silva might get a rest, to be fair, against Brentford.
I would try to give him a rest, yeah, because I think he's just playing too many minutes, and you see the quality just decline the more he plays. I think, like I said, I'm just going to keep saying this. I think the best way you get the most out of Bernardo Silva when you play him once a week.
I agree with that.
You save him for the big games. Stop playing him in these games against Leeds and all this other crap. Like, find the game. There's a lot of there's a lot of games you can not play him the full 90. And when you keep doing that, he's just going to get worse and worse. And he'll be better if you play him less. Because that's the reality of aging. Sorry.
So to round up, we play Brentford, by the way, in the Carabao Cup, not West Ham. Saw someone ask about West Ham predictions tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow is Brentford. Is it at home or is it away?
It's at the Etihad, yeah.
It's at the Etihad. What's your predictions? I'll let you go first and I'll give mine.
I think we win both games. I think we win. I think we emphatically win the West Ham game. West Ham are kind of our bitches. Let's just be real.
Emphatically, nice words. I think we beat Brentford. I'll go with 2-1 because it's at the Etihad. That's why I'll go with that. And Brentford is kind of average, to be fair. They're good, but they're not that good. Like, they're not super good, like people make them out to be. They're a good side, but I think we should beat them at the Etihad. So I'll go 2-1 City, because they'll also rotate for the Carabao Cup, by the way. We're not the only ones who do rotation. Yeah.
I think Thiago probably has the best chance of scoring for them.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if he'll play the full game. And I'd love to, if Holland does start, I definitely back him to score a goal or two, because, he hardly ever plays in these Carabao Cup games. So if he starts, go out there, score some goals and get yourself some rest.
I think Haaland has only played 2 Carabao Cup games in his career, and he scored against Liverpool in one of them.
Liverpool, that's true. Yeah, because we keep getting eliminated early, so he never gets a chance to make a run in this competition.
Let me check.
The only one I'm going to say is I don't want Joško Vardiel touching the pitch at all. I think that guy just is...
Would you play Husinov then?
I would play Husinov the full 90, and then I would play Ake the full 90, and you just kind of make some... Diaz, I said Diaz. I think Diaz starts the game and doesn't finish it. You slide Ake into center back, and you bring on Mafuni if he's, throw him in at left back for 45 minutes. See what he can do. Because we don't really have a lot of options. Like our fullback options is Mateus Nunes. Maybe Nico O'Reilly has to play. I'd prefer he doesn't, but maybe he has to play.
So, Erling Haaland has played 2 games in the Carabao Cup. He scored in one of them. The one he played and scored.
I really have to go. So I'll let you finish your sentence and then we'll say goodbye. I have to start work in like 2 minutes.
He scored in the 3-2 win over Liverpool in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
He failed to score against Southampton 2-0.
Oh, he did play in that game. Oh, that was the Calvin Phillips game.
Oh, dear. Let's round up on that.
All right, sorry to cut it off so abruptly, but
yeah, no worries.
My last day of work. I have tomorrow off, so I'm doing a beer along.
Oh, that would have been wonderful if we could have done this on Wednesday, like we're supposed to, because this show is actually called Wednesday Whining. But anyhow, we'll round up there. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you, as always, for coming on, Calc. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.